So we've just set up our class pad, we've looked at factorials, and we know what a permutation is. We're going to be looking at doing some more factorial work, in particular division. So we're looking at 10A.4 now, factorials division. So let's look at some key facts for factorials. The first thing is that the factorial of 0, or 0 factorial, is equal to 1. It might almost make you put another exclamation mark after the 1 because it's a little bit confusing. But what it's saying is that there is one way to arrange no objects. A little bit unusual to say it like that, but if we accept the fact that 0 factorial is 1, then life becomes a little bit easier. Our next step is that when dividing factorials, there's a shortcut. So let's go through that shortcut now before we work on these questions. So if we're dividing, and we've got here 7 factorial divided by 4 factorial. Now, the way we evaluate this is to expand the factorials top and bottom. If we expand the 7 factorial, let me just change that color, we get 7 times by 6 times by 5 up down to 1. And if we evaluate the 4 factorial, we get 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now what we can clearly see here is we can cancel top and bottom. We know 4 divided by 4 is 1, the same as 3, 2, 1. So we can essentially eliminate those ones here. So I can eliminate that bunch there. We know they will cancel out. So we can see this shown underneath, that and that get eliminated, and we're just left with 5 times 6, 7 times 6 times 5. Now we can actually simplify our working. I know the chunk highlighted in blue here is the same as saying 4 factorial, right? So instead of writing it all out, we can just keep counting down until we've both reached a certain value. In this case, we know the bottom is 4 factorial. So it goes 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. Once I get to that point, I know my 4 factorial is equal to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, but I know that's also what's on the bottom, so I can just leave it like that and cancel out the 4 factorials. What do we have left? 7 times 6 times 5, which is equal to 210. With that in mind, we're going to tackle these worked examples. So we have 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial. To tackle that, I write it out, 5, and on the bottom I've got 3 factorial. So I count down from 5 until I reach 3 factorial. 5 times by 4 times by 3 factorial. At this point, I know I can eliminate the 3 factorials, and I'm now left with 5 times by 4. This will now become 20. For the next step, in part B, we have 100 factorial divided by 98. We'll do the same thing. And our shortcut, 100, and on the bottom we have 98. 100 times by 99. Keep counting down until we reach that bottom number. There it is. We cancel, and then we evaluate. 100 times by 99, which is equal to 9900. Now, how do we know if we got this correct? Well, we can do it by hand, but we can also double check using our class pad and our shift key. So shift divide to make a fraction, and then 5 shift 7 to get our factorial, and then 3 factorial equals 20. And then we'll do the same thing here. 100 factorial divided by 98 factorial. There we go. So you need to be able to do this by hand. This could well be in the non-calc part of your exam or test. But to confirm with your class pad, it's very handy too, because they could also be in your calculator part. So we need to be able to do them both ways. It's your turn now. Have a go, pause the video, and then play when you're ready to see your answers. We now look at the your turn now. So 7 factorial on 5 factorial is 7 times by 6 times by 5 factorial, 5 factorial, they eliminate, and we've got 42. Our next example, part B, we have 82 factorial divided by 79 factorial, which is equal to 82 times by 81 times by 80 times by 79 factorial on 79 factorial. Cross out them, and we're left with 82 times 81 times 80. And you might find it more of a shortcut just to type this in. Right? Just do that instead of doing top and bottom. So we've just loaded that up now. The answer we've got is 531360. And this is the end of factorials division.